Shalom, part two. So I was getting baptized. My best friend was getting baptized, and his family was there. We're on the pool. The father starts speaking in tongues. The mother speaks in tongues, and then I come up, and I didn't want to feel like I was letting them down. This is a true story. So I came up out of the water, and I started speaking in tongues. Okay, like I said, I can do the shit anybody can. It sounded a little more, I'm gonna say, believable, just for their sakes in the moment. Um, but when it's all said and done, so my friend John, he didn't speak in tongues. All right, I don't know if they believe that. Some people do, some people don't. I don't know, but he didn't believe in that bullshit. He did believe in the baptism portion, though. Which, by the way, water baptism isn't the only way to salvation. That's a lie. But it is a custom, a formality that it is okay if you do. Anyway, I digress. So the sister, she actually interpreted what was said. So I guess she must have listened in their church services about how it's supposed to be conducted, or Yahawah just had it done in that order for me to remember. I don't know. I'm not going to go into why that happened, but that's possible. But looking back on it now, I can tell the story and I can relate to this lesson, all right, personally. So yeah, she started interpreting what was said, and yeah. Anyways, it was all BS. It was all baloney. And let's get into it. Acts chapter 2. I'm going to go from 1 to 21. And again, I'm going to read the God's Words translation, okay? And I'm going to stop at verse 3 to show you guys something. All right, so God's Words translation, Acts chapter 2, starting at verse 1. When Pentecost, the 50th day after Passover came, all the believers were together in one place. These are all Israelites, by the way. Verse 2. Suddenly, a sound like a violently blowing wind came from the sky and filled the whole house where they were staying. Tongues that looked like fire appeared to them. Now, this word tongue here, if you go into the the Greek, go into G1100. Hope you guys can see that. It's not reversed. But you'll see the definition of the word tongues there. All right. I can't read that backwards. But outline of biblical usage: the tongue, a member of the body, an organ of speech, a tongue. And then the language or dialect used by a particular people distinct from that of other nations. There, it's been there the whole time. That definition, that meaning of that word tongue is in the Bible. It's in Blue Letter Bible. And we never took time to go out and search out that word. We were never taught it. Fucking strange how that works. Now you know what tongues means, languages. All right, verse 3. Tongues that looked like fire appeared to them. The tongues arranged themselves so that one came to rest on each believer. All the believers were filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other languages as the Spirit gave them the ability to speak. Devout Jewish men, as Israelites, from every nation were living in Jerusalem. So all these Israelite men, right, from all over who were scattered, they were there living in Jerusalem. Verse 6. They gathered when they heard the wind. Each person was startled, each person was startled to recognize his own dialect when the disciples spoke. So these men with this fiery tongue that appeared and placed itself on each of them, they began to speak. These other devout Jews, Israelite men that had gathered there, they began to speak their language. They could understand what these men were saying. Remember, they're from all over the world, or different parts of the region, Slovakia. Verse 7. Stunned and amazed, the people in the crowd said, all of these men who are speaking are Galileans, Slovakia, are Galileans. Why do we hear them speaking in our native dialects? We are Parthians, Medes, Elamites. We're people from Mesopotamia, Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, the province of Asia, Phrygia, Pamphylia, Egypt, and the country near Cyrene in Libya. We're Jewish people, converts to Judaism, Israelites, and visitors from Rome, Crete, Arabia. We hear these men in our own languages as they tell about the miracles that God has done. Verse 12. All of these devout men were stunned and puzzled. They asked each other, "What can this mean?" Others said jokingly, "They're drunk on sweet wine." All right, so they're talking in the languages, the dialects that these men who are from these other countries that they speak, and they're like, these guys are Galileans. They don't speak our language. How are they doing this? So they're amazed at this miracle that's happening. All right, now verse 17. I'm Salakia. Now we're going to go into Peter. He talks to the crowd. Verse 14. Then Peter stood up with the 11 apostles. In a loud voice, he said to them, "Men of Judea and everyone living in Jerusalem, you must understand this, so pay attention to what I say. These men are not drunk, as you suppose. It's only 9 in the morning." And the scriptures say, "Woe unto you who rises up early for strong drink." So no. It's only 9 in the morning. Rather, this is what the prophet Joel spoke about. So now he's referring to Joel, the prophet, and what he prophesied in times past. Verse 17. In the last days, God says, "I will pour my spirit on everyone. Your sons and daughters will speak what God has revealed. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams. In those days, I will pour my spirit on my servants, on both men and women. They will speak what God has revealed. It will work miracles in the sky and give signs on the earth: blood, fire, and clouds of smoke. The sun will become dark and the moon will become as red as blood before the terrifying day of the Lord comes. Then whoever calls on the name of the Lord will be saved." All right, so that is it in a nutshell. I've broken down to you in a previous video what tongues is. It's just a video of a young lady speaking in, I believe, 7 different languages, which is a beautiful thing. I do have the luxury. I can speak what's called Urdu. It's spoken in India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Urdu means language of the 5 armies. Go into the history. I'm going to go on the etymology of words. It's a whole nother story. But yes, the tongue, if you've ever learned a different language, the tongue is a powerful tool. The scriptures describe it, right? Um, it can get you in a lot of trouble too. But that's pretty much in a nutshell. I hope you're edified. And remember what speaking tongues is. It's speaking different languages. If you hear someone that babble stuff, just go the other way. All right. Or if you're bold enough and you know the scriptures, the breakdowns that I just gave you, go into the rules of speaking in tongues. Go and show your pastor, show your mommy, your daddy. Say, hey, this is what you're supposed to be doing when you speak in tongues. See what the response is. Guarantee it's going to be a wicked response, some excuse. Okay. All right, so with that said, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Shalom, shalom.